Appearance on Dion's Daily Dose does not imply endorsement from or by any candidate or guest. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed by Dion Bergeron or Dion's Daily Dose are his own and do not represent the views, thoughts, and opinions of any guest. Material and information presented is for general information purposes only. The Dion's Daily Dose name in all forms and abbreviations are the property of its owners, and its use does not imply endorsement of or opposition to any specific organization, product, or service. If you'd like to support the show, please visit our Patreon at patreon.com/Dion's Daily Dose.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Dion's Daily Dose. The date is November 9th, 2020, Monday. So here we are, post-election. First of all, before we go any further and get into anything, I just want to send a heartfelt thank you to the thousands, many thousands of people that believed in me enough to vote for me in this election. It really means more to me than any of you will ever know. I am humbled and extremely grateful at the outpouring of support that I received. It was incredible. To everybody that I spoke to at your home, to everybody that I spoke to at various functions and met you and got to know you, and to the ones that I've communicated with online, thank you very, very much for your belief in me and your support in me. We did not win. I think that's pretty safe bet at this point to say that the election for Indiana State Representative for District 9 is over. What I will say is there were a lot of factors that went into this election. A lot of things that I could say, oh, it's because of this, or it's because of that, or because this person said this, or this person said they were going to do that. None of that is the case. There is one person ultimately that is responsible for my success and failure in life, for my success and failure in an election, and that person is me. I take full responsibility. There were things that I absolutely could have done to work a little harder, knock more doors, talk to more people, get my name out there better. I will say this, though, to go from complete anonymity at this time last year, I was never much of a person to go out there and get my name out there and do things for the sake of press or making a splash or any of that stuff. We came really close. My political career is up in the air at this time, but I'm going to tell you this. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not over as far as my appearance in political realm. There is a lot that needs to be fixed. It doesn't matter who wins the White House, if it's Donald Trump, if it's Joe Biden. When the dust settles, we have many, many more important things locally, at a county, at a city, at a state level that needs to be fixed, that need good quality people that step up and take the mantle and go. It's one thing to talk about change. It's another to actually push for it, to put your name on the ballot, to endure the criticism. I'll tell you, not once did I ever private message someone who had the courage to put their name on the ballot and send them the kind of hate-filled messages that I have gotten since I decided to run for office. It's absolutely mind-blowing how people can get through life with that level of hate in their heart. Sorry. One thing that I have learned from this is that there are many, many, many people, not just in the 9th Indiana House District, but all over this country, that feel like there's no one that's speaking for them. And that's one reason why Donald Trump is so incredibly popular with his base, is because he says what most people only think. He says out loud, not everything, there's some stuff where it's like, oh man, did he have to tweet that? But in general, He says it in a way that connects with the regular person. He says it in a way that we can go, yeah, that's what I've been saying all along. There are many people who feel that way. There are many people who feel like we need someone that is willing to put their name out there, their reputation out there, and willing to stand up for sometimes the most ridiculous, blatant, glaring problems that exist. And no one seems, I won't say no one, not nearly enough people are willing to do that. Not nearly enough people are willing to get up and say, hey, this is wrong, right? I don't know if you've seen it. There's a story where I think it's in Hammond. There's a school administrator who is basically demanding a $20,000 a year raise. And it's not even contract time. Also wants people to pay for his master's degree. I am all for more pay for teachers. But in my opinion, administrators are already greatly overpaid. According to some sources that I read, he's already making $120,000 a year. I don't know about you, but I don't make 120 grand a year. How many of you out there are making 120 grand a year or better with decent benefits and a pension? And you want more? You want another 20,000 a year? This is one of many, many things that we desperately need people that are willing to stand up and say, what? That's ridiculous. Why would we do that? Ultimately, it's up to the school board. It's up to the people who live there to make that decision. But I'm not just going to fade into the background. I don't know whether I will run for this particular race again in 2 years or whether I'll run for anything in particular. Okay, yeah, my wife's on it. She knows. It was the Hammond superintendent. He wants $30,000 for his PhD and a $20,000 raise. It's mind-boggling. There is so much that needs to be fixed, that needs to be addressed, and there are so many people. I've talked to many of you that just feel disenfranchised. They feel like no one listens to them. They feel like they may send messages to their representative, their senator, their president, whomever, and they don't hear back. They don't get any acknowledgement. They don't get anyone saying, I hear what you're saying. I am not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but one thing that I will say and do no matter what office I end up winning, if I end up winning anything, is I will communicate with you, the voter. I will tell you what's going on, if I can fix it, and what I'll do if I can. There are many people who've already reached out to me talking about 2 years from now, let's gear up for it. Let's get busy. I don't know yet. I have not made any official decisions about what, if anything, I will be running for in the next election. What I will tell you, though, is if I decide to run for something again, then those of you who supported me, you'll be absolutely crucial to this. You'll be very much needed for this next run if we do this. I'm going to say this. The election itself, the presidential election that I'm talking about right now, it's not over. Despite what the media would have you believe, none of this is decided yet. There are still votes being counted, and there are some definite anomalies that need to be addressed. How can we, as a functioning constitutional republic, have faith in our election system when there are issues that are blatant and frankly very concerning that are going on? However it works out, let me just say this. If once everything's investigated, if everything's done and it's shown that legally in a free and fair election that Joe Biden, actually Kamala Harris, wins the presidency, I will accept that. I won't be happy about it. And absolutely, I will keep a very close eye on what's going on, and I will call out the things that I think are wrong. But it's not over till it's over. And I think there are some very concerning things in this election that need to be addressed. And regardless of which side of the political aisle you sit on, I would think that all of us would want to know that the election process can be trusted, right? I know this. If Donald Trump was cruising and Biden was headed to victory and clearly, and all of a sudden they found 130,000 Donald Trump ballots out of nowhere, I'd be concerned as well. It's not just because my guy is down or this guy is up. If there's a problem, then that problem needs to be addressed. It doesn't matter who is up or down, who wins, who loses. We, the people of the United States of America, deserve to have faith in our election. For years, right, growing up, we'd read newspaper articles or see spots on TV about fixed elections in other countries and ridiculousness going on. People getting elected that, should never have been elected. Massive popular support was for the other candidate, and all of a sudden, book. And Matt, you're absolutely right. Matt says we need voter ID, and I wholeheartedly agree. Here in Indiana, thankfully, we have it, but I wholeheartedly disagree with the notion that voter ID is somehow voter suppression, because you need ID to do just about anything. I'm wholeheartedly on board with requiring voter ID. The problem, though, that we've seen, and this is going to gets kind of deep into it, right, when you start learning. But states are responsible for their own election measures, right? So while Indiana can absolutely say, hey, voter ID is required, certain other states do not have the requirements that Indiana does, and they're in charge of their elections. And perhaps this is something that may need to be addressed, on a federal. I don't know, but Eric says none of the same day registration. There's an issue with same day registration. I don't understand why that's even a thing, to be honest. If you don't know if you want to vote until the very day of voting, I mean, and in many cases, it puts the people who are registering in a very precarious position, because usually if you register early, there's enough time to make sure that you are who you say you are. My big issue isn't even with the same day registration. My big issue is with these mailed out ballots when no one requests them. We've seen apartment buildings that have a stack of ballots like this. Anyone mail those out. People have commented that, do away with absentee ballots. We can't do that. I mean, we can, but that would be very unfair, because I'm going to tell you, when I went door to door, I spoke to some people who were disabled, some people who going to the polls was very difficult, if not impossible, for them. They should also retain their ability and right to vote. Absentee ballots are very, very different than unsolicited mail-in ballots. When you just send out ballots to everyone, you just kind of hope that it's going to people who aren't going to cheat. And unfortunately, there's a problem. Yeah, absolutely. Austin nails it. Important difference between mass mail-in ballots and solicited absentee ballots. That's exactly it. I am all for allowing people that have a genuine disability or a genuine reason, as per their rules and regulations, as to why they cannot vote in person. This year was particularly crazy, what with COVID and everything else. I will say this: ultimately, my race came far closer than I think a Republican has done in District 9 in a very long time, if at all. It's been a Democrat stronghold for quite a long time. This was a winnable race. It comes down to I didn't do enough. And for that, to the voters who really, really wanted me in there, for that, I apologize to you. There were absolutely days when I got up and I planned to go door to door, and either something came up or I'm like, maybe I should do this instead. I could have done more. And I can assure you, if I run for something in the future, that I will do more. On the one hand, it was one general election. I lost one general election. I will tell you this. While I admire certain people's perseverance in running over and over and over, I am not going to be that guy. I am not going to go, and whatever. If I run again for something, or when I run again for something, or whatever, if I lose that election, it will be really time to take a step back and go, maybe I don't know if I'm meant to do this. I already said if it had been if I had gotten blown out of the water, then it may not have been something that I was planning to do again. But it was close. It was much closer than some people thought possible, and it was much closer than it was much closer than many people thought would definitely happen, including my opponent. My opponent that seems to have believed that she had everything sewn up in Michigan City. As the numbers showed, yes, Michigan City was the deciding factor. Yes, the votes just weren't quite enough to even it out and get me over the top. But what it did show, and I really hope that Pat Boy will learn that there are a lot of people that don't feel as if they're being represented. If they did, then I would have lost in the landslide. I did not. There are many people who believe that better is out there. There are many people who believe that she doesn't listen to them. I'm not saying this to denigrate my opponent. I'm saying it because this is an opportunity for her. She won. Congratulations to her. But obviously, there are a decent percentage of people that live in the district that feel disenfranchised. We'll see what happens. A lot of things can happen in 2 years. I think there are many things that are going to come out about our election system. I think there are a lot of things that people are going to learn really soon. So things may be very different in 2 years, but if they're not, then depending on who runs too. My opponent has made no bones about the fact that she's getting older, and we were at my wife and we were at a location. Neiman's school, actually, and there was one of Pat Boy's most ardent supporters there who was talking about how Pat had all kinds of personal issues going on, and that's why she didn't leave the house very much, and that's blah, 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 blah. None of that's important, except if so much is going on that you can't debate, if so much is going on that you can't go out and campaign, you can't do this, you can't do that. Are you prepared to go and do the job? Because that's really my concern. It's really what it comes down to is, are you able to go down there and do the job? We'll see. She's got 2 years to prove that she's doing a great job. I was obviously not that impressed by the last 2 years, but this is her opportunity, and I wish her well. Because look, just like with the presidency, I wish her the utmost success, talking about Pat Boyd, because she's my representative. I want her to do well. I want her to author effective bills that improve the lives of District 9. And that's what everyone should want. I don't wish for her to fail. I don't want that. I want, just like the president, I want the president to do well, because if the president does well, we do well. Same thing with my representative. there are many things that are going to come out, but I do want to tell everyone the show will go on. Dion's Daily Dose will continue. I've mentioned before that I have a spinal stimulator in my back. Uh, that's been an ongoing thing. I actually have to have a minor surgery this coming Saturday, so I'm not sure about how often the show will be pretty soon. I'm gonna keep it going here this week until Saturday. It'll be a quick inpatient deal, and then I'm gonna come home. I don't know if I'll be able, because they're going to have to remove the stimulator, which is all along down the back of my spine, and blah, 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 blah. So I don't know if I'll be able to like sit in the chair and do the show. We'll figure it out one way or another. I will say this. I do plan on getting some good interviews for you. I plan on having some great conversations with not only you, but some prominent figures within District 9, because I think there are lots of things that we can improve on. And I think there are lots of things that can be talked about. I will say this, presidency aside, because obviously that's still going on, but up and down the ballot, Republicans, amazing. To all of my fellow Michigan City, LaPorte County, Porter County Republicans, almost all of them won. Almost all of them. County offices flipped. State offices flipped. We got District 5 in Indianapolis for Victoria Sparks. She won. Up and down the ballot, Republicans won. Obviously, for my race, that didn't happen, but it did for many others. Commissioner, that was a huge upset. Vidyakura lost, and he's a very well-known name. Joe Haney won, and I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I've had a lot of conversations with Joe, and he is a freedom-loving patriot, and I have absolute confidence in Joe Haney as commissioner. County council, it was exclusively Democrat. We had one guy on the council, and now we've got Connie Grammarosa and Earl Cunningham that both won their races, and one Democrat. 2-1 now. There are other commissioner races that are coming up in 2 years. Hey, there are a lot of things that are going to be changing in LaPorte County. If we can keep this momentum and keep it going, and you know what? I'm going to say this. Thanks for saying that, Matt. Says, and this is some people's opinion. Too bad Rainwater didn't win. Matt says Holcomb is a rhino. I'm going to tell you this, ladies and gentlemen. I have been told that one of the reasons that I did not receive support for my race from so-called official channels is because I was, let's see, how do I put this? That I didn't jump on the Holcomb bandwagon. I'm going to call out BS when I see it. I don't care what party they are. I don't care if it's the governor. I don't care if it's the chairman of the Republican Party. If I see somebody do something that I personally disagree with, that I believe is wrong, I'm going to say something. I disagree. Look, the mask is a big deal for a lot of people. It's a big deal both for the left and the right. Personally, I believe it should be a personal choice. I do believe businesses have the right to require social distancing. What I don't believe is government mandated shutdown of businesses. That I can't get with that. I can't. And I'm not going to pretend. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to continue. It does me no good, or you, for me to win an election if I'm not going to be the person that I claim to be. It's just that simple. I'm not going to jump on the political bandwagon and do things that I don't believe in. I'm not going to say, yay, 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 if I don't believe in that person. And look, I've talked about it before. There are many things that Holcomb has done for Indiana that I wholeheartedly agree with, bringing in businesses. None come to District 9, but they do come to Indiana. We've seen many businesses up and down the state that have opened up shop here, that have moved from other places. And that's awesome. What I don't agree with are some of the other policies. And it's not that I dislike him. I don't have anything against him, but I'm not going to pretend to agree with or get with something that I don't. One of the things that many, many people have told me, the reason that they support me, the reason that they helped me as much as they could, whether it was via donation, whether it was via sharing my message, the reason that they do that is because I'm not trying to be a fake politician that only believes in things that get them votes. I will not be that person. I will not turn into that. If that tanks my political career, then so be it. Some have said, you're far too nice for politics. It's not that I'm nice. It's just that I try to imagine myself in the other person's shoes. Now, sometimes I can do that. Other times, not so much. But ultimately, ladies and gentlemen, what it comes down to, I don't necessarily think that Holcomb is as bad as some people claim, but he's also not as grandiose and amazing as some claim. He's human, just like all of us. And I've made no bones about the fact that he was put into a very, very hard position. Imagine being the governor of a state. All you know is that COVID is allegedly killing people, and you have to make decisions based on your health director telling you it's a pandemic, people are dying. What are you going to do? I don't know what I'd have done, ultimately, right? I like to think that we would have taken the South Dakota approach, Governor Kristi Noem, and allowed people to make their own decisions. Look at Sweden right now; they're doing extremely well economically, and no worse off for the virus than other areas. It just comes down to I'm not going to sell myself out for political gain. It's not going to happen, and maybe that cost me. Maybe that was part of the reason why I didn't get it. If that's the case, then so be it. I would rather lose an election and continue to be the person that I am than win and be someone else. I'm not going to do that. So expect some good interviews coming. Now that the election is over, we can kind of do a few more things that I wanted to do, get into a few other things a little deeper that I was hoping to pre-election. But obviously, whenever you have a conversation with someone, there's the chance that it's going to go off the rails. And some of the people that I would have liked to have had on definitely had some negative connotations potentially. Now that the election's over, we don't have to worry about that. We can have on whoever you and I want to have on. I'm looking forward to that. Stay tuned. And as always, I appreciate you joining me. It's going to get better. It's going to get better. Keep the faith, ladies and gentlemen. Remember this, the media does not pick who wins an election. We do. Ultimately, we do. And I believe that there is a lot that is about to come out. Matt, I appreciate that. Matt says, I've said it once, I'll say it again. This country needs more patriots like you. Thank you. I appreciate that. For whatever it's worth, I'll work harder next time and we'll pull it in. Thanks everybody for being there. To all of you who aren't watching this live right now, for everyone that voted for me, thank you from the bottom of my heart. For everyone that voted for my opponent, I regret that I wasn't able to convince you this time, but hopefully you will still give me a chance and learn that I'm better than you think. Thank you very much. I guess I don't know how else to say it. I hope to gain your trust. We do need people that are willing to stand up and talk about what's wrong. So God bless you. God bless Indiana, and God bless the United States of America.
If you'd like to support the show, please visit our Patreon at patreon.com/Dion's Daily Dose. This has been Dion's Daily Dose, hosted by Dion Bergeron. Executive producers Sean Holgram and Michael Beebe. Copyright 2020. Dion's Daily Dose, all rights reserved.